Have you ever wondered why you keep having the same unhelpful conversations and conflicts with your partner, and that you keep emotionally dumping onto clients or guests or employees or coworkers, and you don't know why? In our Instagram Live today, we're going to talk about how you can have an easeful conversation when you're amongst stress. And we're going to go over 3 helpful tools that can help you to have a more easeful conversation in your day-to-day life. So throughout this Instagram Live, I would love for you all to interact. I would love for you to put comments. I would love for you to post little emojis, say hi, and engage throughout the conversation. Take notes. So, how do you have an easeful conversation when you're stressed? Well, it's pretty hard, right? How many of you can resonate with that? Go ahead and pop in the chat. Go ahead and put some reactions in. It's pretty hard. When you're stressed, what does it mean? What does it mean to be stressed? What does that mean? Well, for different people, it can mean different things. And it can look and feel different. When we're stressed, we're either overthinking, we can feel really tight, we can feel heat in our neck or our face. Maybe our face gets flushed, frantic. Yes. So everyone can feel stress differently. So how do you have an easeful conversation when you're overthinking, when you're frantic, when you're feeling tightness in your chest? Well, it's hard. And I don't love to use this word, but it's close to impossible. So then what do we do? Well, it's important to acknowledge that most of the time, when we're having stressful, when we have conversations, when we're amongst stress, and when it impacts us sometimes the most, is when we're talking with romantic relationships or in the workplace. And this can also be extensions of family, for example. That can impact us the most. So, if one of the things that we value so much, we can't have an easeful conversation, and because we're stressed, how do we have an easeful conversation when we're stressed? And what does that even mean? What does that even look like? Well, we went over the definition and we went over some examples of what stress can look like. So then, how do you experience ease? How you experience ease is by regulating your nervous system. What does that mean? What does that mean to regulate your nervous system? What it means is that our nervous system is composed. And we're either in a sympathetic nervous system state or a parasympathetic nervous system state. What does that mean? Our sympathetic nervous system is activated when we're stressed or when we're triggered. So this can be fight. You want to actually fight your partner verbally or wanting to punch them, or a coworker. And maybe it's not actually, okay, I'm going to hit you right now, right? But it's, I feel so annoyed. I feel so angry. I feel so upset by what you've said that I want to fight. I want to combat you with my words. This can be freeze. You can actually feel a closing of your throat. It's like you're trying to think of the words to say, and you almost know what you want to say, but it's so hard to get it out. Or flight. You're like, I want to yeet out of here so quickly. I want to avoid all of this right now of what's going on. Right? How many people can resonate with that? Go ahead and pop it in the chat. Go ahead and put some reactions. Because we all do this. Let's be honest and let's be real with ourselves that this is how a majority of us operate in day-to-day life. Let's just take off the mask and take off whatever right now. Let's just be real. Let's just be real with ourselves. Definitely. Yeah. And here's the thing. All of this is just self-awareness. So how do we have a more easeful conversation when we're stressed? Well, we know that when we're stressed or when we're triggered, the sympathetic nervous system is at play. So we're either in fight, I want to fight you, I want to freeze, I can't talk, or I want to get out of here. I want to leave the room, I want to leave this conversation, I don't want to talk about this. So that's how we know when the stress or trigger is activated. Now, to have a more easeful conversation, we must activate our parasympathetic nervous system. What does that mean? Our parasympathetic nervous system is rest and digest. This is ease. So in order to have an effective conversation, a healthy conversation with people that we love and care for, we have to be in a state of ease. And flow with me here, we have to check our own crazy. Because it's easier to either complain about it, or it's easier to put it on other people. But we have to take our part, that it takes two to tango. And from what I've learned, it only takes one person to change a relationship. So be that one person. So, in order to have a more easeful conversation, we must activate our parasympathetic nervous system. We must activate ease and digest and relaxation in our body. How do we do that? What does that look like? I'm going to provide you with 3 tools. So if you're taking notes, I recommend taking notes so that way you can do this. And you can utilize these 3 tools regardless of who you are, regardless of race, religion, background, whatever. Anyone can utilize these 3 tools if you're in the workspace, if you're about to have a conversation with your partner, you're about to have a conversation with your kids, whoever. Everyone can practice these 3 tools. Are y'all ready? Go ahead and put some comments in. Go ahead and put some reactions in so I know you guys are ready so I can go ahead and share these helpful tools. Are we ready? All right. Awesome. Go, go, go. Yes, ma'am. Awesome. So number one, breathe. Yes. Breathe. This might seem like, okay, well, what do you mean breathe? What does that mean? What that means is that most of the time, whether we realize it or not, we're actually not breathing deeply. And oftentimes, when we are in a stressful state, or even going about our day-to-day, we either suck in our stomach and we're not breathing. So to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, to activate rest and digest and relaxation, just breathe. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And sometimes if you're so triggered, like I can be at times, right? Let's be honest. Sometimes it's in through the mouth and out through the mouth. So I want you to practice this with me right now. In through the nose or the mouth, and out through the nose or mouth. I recommend out through the mouth. Instantly, you can start to feel better. You can start to feel more relaxed. How many people feel more relaxed or a little bit more at ease now? Go ahead and put some comments in. Go ahead and put some reactions in. Just by breathing a deep breath. Right? Go ahead and put some comments. Go ahead and put some reactions in so I know you guys are catching on this. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So that's number 1, breathe. Number 2, take a cold shower. I don't know how that happened. Take a cold shower, put a fan on, and breathe. So let's say you're at work or you're, in your living room and you have access to a fan. Put the fan on. Why do we do this? Why do we take a cold shower? Why do we put on a fan? We do this because we get cold. Oh, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean we do this because we get cold? Why do we want to get cold? We get cold because it allows us to practice breathing. So if you want a deeper way, and this can also shock us, and that's a different thing. But basically, it's a tool to help you breathe. So if you really want to take it to a different step, put on a fan, go underneath a fan, take a cold shower, and practice breathing. Okay, so number 1, breathing. In through the mouth or nose, out through the mouth. Number 2, taking a cold shower or putting on a fan and breathing. Number 3, so if we're writing this down, I would write these down. Take notes on these as well. Again, you can do this anywhere. Basically anywhere. Number 3, shake out your body and move it in a way to move and release what you're feeling. What does that mean? What that means is that when we are in fight, when we're like, to our partner, why did you just say that, right? Let's all be honest here, right? We all have those thoughts of why did those words just come out your mouth? Or this could be to a coworker. This could be to an employee. How is that coming out your mouth right now? Let's all be honest, right? How many people can resonate with that? Go ahead and put some comments in. Go ahead and put some reactions in, because let's be honest here, right? And if that doesn't resonate with you, then I would explore a little bit further. Okay? So what's important is that when we move our body, when we shake, when we release, it allows us to get out what we want to get out, because it's valid how you feel. This whole conversation is not about excusing how you feel, because how you feel is valid. It's not about pushing down the frustration. It's not about pushing down the annoyance. It's not about pushing down the sadness. It's actually about feeling it, which is a different conversation. Allowing yourself to shake it out, right? And now if you're in the workspace, you might it's kind of random to just do to do that. So what do? You go to the bathroom. You go to a closet. You go to an office, you go to your own office. Or if you're at home, you go to a private space and you shake it out, right? Visualize literally the annoyance or the frustration or whatever you're feeling coming out, the energy releasing from your hands. And breathe. Why do we do these things? We do these things to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. What does that mean? It allows us to activate rest, relaxation, and ease. So in order to have an easeful conversation when you're stressed and you have clients or you have guests coming in, you have a lot going on, you're trying to manage employees, you just had a really hard conversation with your kid and you're about to have a conversation with your spouse or your partner. How do you have an easeful conversation? Is by checking your own crazy. And what I mean by that is checking how you feel and activating your parasympathetic nervous system. Before you have the conversation, breathe. Take a cold shower, go by a fan. Not go by a fan, but go under a fan if you have one. And shake. Move your body. Go for a run or work out if you're able to. Why we do this is because it allows you to then be in a state of more relaxation. And why is this important? This is important because you then have a choice in how you want to respond versus reacting. What does that mean? Reacting is the fight, is the flight, yeet, or the freeze. Responding as an adult is regulating how we're feeling, activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which we just went over how to do, and then choosing how we want to respond. And that's also another conversation based on who you want to be. So anchoring into boldness, kindness, confidence. So in order to have a more easeful conversation, and if you practice at least one of these 3 tools, I guarantee something will shift in your life. I guarantee. And I want you to come back and either check in with yourself, or you're more than welcome to share with me on here on Instagram and let me know how this works for you. Because these are daily practical tools. Like, I don't think we wake up or anyone wakes up and it's like, I'm choosing stress today, right? Like I'm craving stress. Like, we all want ease. We all want healthy, loving relationships. We all want to feel seen and heard and valued in all different areas of our life. Now, does this mean that we show up perfectly all the time by doing these things? No, we're human. I don't do it. But what I have done by utilizing these different tools is shown up with more intention, shown up with more healthiness for myself and other people, and being an effective person. And having more ease in my life because I've checked my crazy in regards to how I'm showing up. So I don't want you to think, I've never experienced the fight, flight, freeze, because I still can. And so it's actively working on these things so that way that becomes your new habit. The breathing before you have the conversation, that becomes your new response to whatever's going on. So go ahead and put some comments in. Go ahead and put some reactions in if this is making sense for you all. If what we've talked about thus far makes sense in regards to having a more easeful conversation. By regulating yourself, breathing, the fan, cold shower, or shaking and moving our body. Which allows us to then be intentional with what we want to say. How many of this is making sense? How much of this is making sense to everyone here? Go ahead and put some comments in. Go ahead and put some reactions in. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know how this is resonating for you. Yes, definitely. I'll have to work on the cold shower. Yeah. Almost every single time before I take a cold shower. The other day, it almost took me 45 minutes to get into the shower. Because it's not something that I'm like, oh yes, cold shower still. But I know it's beneficial for me. And I know it's healthy for me. So I do it. It's so difficult, totally, because it's a habit that we're breaking. And so this is a different conversation, but it's also having love for ourselves throughout this process. And it's not, you're a horrible person for doing these things. Like, that's not helpful either. What's helpful is giving ourselves love, talking like you would to a grandchild or to a parent, to a child or a parent or someone you love, to yourself, and practicing these things because it is hard and it is difficult because we're doing something different. And so this is something that we explore so much deeper in the Maison and a new program and a new offer that we've launched. So to put it in perspective, I want you to think about, you can either invest $50 monthly on random things on Amazon or random things that you buy that you end up, I hope not, but throwing away or recycling or giving away that you end up not even wanting. It's on trend for the year. And then you just get rid of it the next year. Imagine putting that $50 into something that will change your kids' lives, into something that will change your life, something that will change your romantic relationships, your family relationships. $50. You can spend $50 on random stuff that ends up just sitting there. Or you can invest $50 monthly into something that's benefiting you. Like when you weigh out the pros and cons, what's more beneficial? What's more beneficial? And so that is the entry point of the Maison. $50 monthly. That's it. And then for individuals that are ready, that are high achieving earners, wanting to also be in an intimate space and learn deeper in regards to these healthy tools, this is what the Healthy Millionaire is. We now have applications for you to apply, for me to filter through, and for me to also learn more about you before investing. So that way we can see and co-create the space. So to join the Maison or to join the Healthy Millionaire, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. You can comment on this video, either Maison or Millionaire. We'll send you the link and we'll go from there. I want you to think about, in anything that you do, not even just this, I want you to just think about, in anything that you do, you can ask yourself, well, what's the ROI? What am I going to get from this? First, I want you to think about what happens if you don't. What happens if you don't invest? Well, your life stays the same. What happens if you do invest? Your life will change. And so this is for big dreamers, big action takers that are ready to make movement in their life, because you can either stay where you are, which there might not be anything wrong with where you are. And this is not for the people that, are actively like, I am perfectly 100% pleased with exactly where I am. This is for the people that want to continuously evolve and grow, because they also know that evolving is important and growth is important and change and learning is important, and that their future is important, and that right now is important, and that their kids are important, and that how they impact and show up in the world is important. So this is for people who are ready to take action and not just invest in something and not do anything. So from this conversation today, you've learned 3 practical tools that can help you have a more easeful conversation with individuals that, let's be honest, you care for. Before you show up, before you react, you now know how to respond based on these 3 tools. And I guarantee just practicing one of these 3 tools, if you actively practice it over and over and over and over and over again, this will help change your life. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next Instagram live show. Have a nice one.